For thousands of years, human culture was passed down by hand through stories, rituals, music, movement, and memory. Every generation inherited more than knowledge. It inherited meaning, ways of living, ways of believing, ways of understanding the world. Tradition was slow. It evolved across centuries, and it connected people to something larger than themselves. It gave individuals a place in a story that began long before them and would continue long after. But today, something unprecedented is happening. Machines are entering spaces that were once purely human. They are learning our languages, our music, our gestures, our rituals, and our values. Technology is no longer just changing how we work. It is beginning to reshape how we live. This is the story of what happens when ancient culture meets artificial intelligence and what that collision means for our future. For most of history, culture depended on proximity. You learned from elders, neighbors, teachers, and community. A dance survived because people kept dancing it. A story survived because people kept telling it. A ritual survived because people kept believing in it. Tradition was embodied. It lived in voices, hands, and memories. It was carried in daily life, not stored in databases. Then came mass media. Books, radio, television, film, culture began to travel. Ideas crossed borders, styles merged, influences mixed, but tradition still belonged to people. Technology transmitted it. It did not perform it. It did not replace it. That boundary is now fading. Today, machines can sing traditional songs, recreate ancient instruments, imitate regional accents, generate folk art, and perform classical dances. Robots practice martial arts. AI composes spiritual music. Virtual avatars conduct ceremonies. What once required decades of practice can now be simulated in seconds. At first, this feels extraordinary. A way to preserve endangered cultures. A way to archive fading traditions. A way to teach future generations. And in many ways it is. AI can document languages before they disappear, reconstruct lost architecture, restore damaged manuscripts, recreate extinct instruments. Technology becomes a cultural memory, a digital archive of humanity. But something else is happening at the same time. Culture is becoming programmable. When a machine learns a tradition, it does not feel it. It does not believe in it. It does not carry its emotional weight. It learns patterns, movements, sounds, symbols, sequences. What it reproduces is form, not meaning. A prayer without faith, a dance without devotion, a ritual without reverence. It looks authentic. It sounds authentic. But something is missing. Context, intention, history, sacrifice, joy. Everything that gave the tradition its soul. This creates a new kind of culture. One that is technically perfect, but spiritually hollow. Consider music. AI can now compose songs in the style of ancient chants, tribal rhythms, or classical traditions. It matches scales, tempo, and tone. It imitates masters, but it has never mourned, never celebrated, never lost someone, never fallen in love. It does not know why those songs were written, only how, or consider craftsmanship. Algorithms design furniture inspired by indigenous patterns. Robots carve, weave, and assemble with flawless precision, but they do not understand why certain symbols were sacred, why certain materials mattered, why imperfections were meaningful, or consider language. AI can speak endangered dialects, translate ancient texts, generate folklore, but it has never lived inside those communities, never felt migration, never experienced exclusion, never endured survival. Language is more than grammar. It is history encoded in words. Now think about spirituality, virtual temples, AI-generated sermons, digital prayers, robots guiding meditation, avatars leading rituals. On one level, this increases access. On another, it transforms belief. Faith becomes content. Spirituality becomes interface. Meaning becomes downloadable. When everything can be generated, what remains sacred? This raises a difficult question. If a machine can perfectly perform a tradition, who owns it? Is it still human? Is it still cultural? Or does it become something else? A product, a simulation, a service. Culture begins to detach from community. It becomes portable, scalable, and monetizable. Traditions that once belonged to specific people become global templates. Anyone can remix them. Anyone can profit from them, often without understanding their roots. This creates cultural flattening. Deep differences become surface aesthetics. Sacred symbols become decoration. Rituals become entertainment. Identity becomes costume. At the same time, younger generations are growing up inside this hybrid world. They learn dances from videos, prayers from apps, history from summaries, stories from algorithms. Their teachers are no longer just people. They are platforms. And platforms optimize for engagement, not depth, not accuracy, not respect. What performs well is amplified. What is subtle is buried. Over time, culture adapts to algorithms. Rituals shorten, stories simplify, symbols exaggerate. Everything becomes more visual, more dramatic, more clickable. Culture evolves for machines, not for humans. Yet this story is not only about loss. There is another side. Technology also enables revival. Communities reconnect across continents. Diasporas rediscover roots. Young people learn languages their grandparents spoke. Artists blend tradition with innovation. New forms emerge. Hybrid identities, digital folklore, global rituals. A dancer in India collaborates with a musician in Brazil. A storyteller in Africa inspires animators in Japan. Culture becomes dialogue, not isolation. This is the paradox. Technology can erase meaning and amplify it. It can flatten culture or deepen it. The difference is intention. Do we use machines to replace practice or to support it? Do we let algorithms decide what matters? Or do we guide them with values? Do we treat culture as data or as living heritage? Because tradition is not a museum object, it is not something to preserve behind glass. It is something to live, to adapt, to reinterpret, to embody. Without humans practicing it, it becomes performance, not identity. Without community, it becomes aesthetic, not belonging. The danger is not that machines learn our traditions. The danger is that humans stop living them, that we outsource memory, outsource ritual, outsource meaning, until culture becomes something we consume, not something we are. The future will not be purely traditional, and it will not be purely technological. It will be negotiated between generations, between communities, between humans and machines. The question is not whether robots will dance. They will. The question is whether humans will still know why. The question is not whether AI will tell our stories. It already does. The question is whether we will still remember who we are. Technology is powerful, but culture is resilient. It has survived empires, wars, colonization, and globalization. It can survive algorithms, too, if we choose to protect it, if we choose to practice it, if we choose to teach it, not as content, but as connection, not as data, but as identity, not as performance, but as belonging. This is not a war between old and new. It is a conversation between past and future, between memory and innovation between humanity and its creations. And how that conversation unfolds will define who we become. This is Neural News. And this is how tradition and technology are learning to coexist.